Part 2, Stephen Douglas. So we looked at the Kansas-Nebraska Act, which was passed in 1854. We're now moving on to make a connection to the Dred Scott decision, so keep those years in mind. The Supreme Court struck indirectly at popular sovereignty in the Dred Scott decision 1857, which held that neither Congress nor territorial legislatures could prohibit slavery in a territory. The following year, Douglas engaged in a number of widely publicized debates with Lincoln in a close contest for the Senate seat in Illinois, which he won. In the debates, Douglas enunciated his solution of popular sovereignty, which stated that the territories could still determine the existence of slavery in spite of the Supreme Court decision. As a result, Southern opposition to Douglas intensified. The South appreciated the outcome of the Dred Scott decision. So what we have up here essentially is the Dred Scott decision challenging the Kansas-Nebraska Act, saying that people cannot choose to ban slavery. Essentially, this court decision says that slavery is legal, slaves are property, and therefore no one can take it away, meaning no one can stop slavery. So this is actually hurting Douglas's argument for popular sovereignty, which is why Douglas is opposing the Supreme Court decision down here. And he's basically just saying the people's voice through voting should override the Supreme Court decision. And we had studied previously that the North wasn't very happy with Douglas because the Kansas-Nebraska Act allowed slavery to spread if people voted for it. So that made the North and the abolitionists upset. Well, now he's upsetting the South because the South supported the Dred Scott case because it maintained slavery, it protected slavery. Okay? Here we have an excerpt of one of Douglas's speeches that explains the idea of popular sovereignty. So let's go ahead and give it a read. The next question: can the people of a territory in any lawful way, against the wishes of any citizen of the United States, exclude slavery from their limits prior to the formation of a state constitution? I answer emphatically, as Mr. Lincoln has heard me answer 100 times from every stump in Illinois, that my opinion, the people of a territory can, by lawful means, exclude slavery from their limits prior to the formation of a state constitution. Mr. Lincoln knew that I had answered this question over and over again. It matters not what way the Supreme Court may hereafter decide as to the abstract question whether slavery may or may not go into a territory under the Constitution. The people have the lawful means to introduce it or exclude it as they please, for the reason that slavery cannot exist a day or an hour anywhere unless it is supported by the local police regulations. Those police regulations can only be established by the local legislature. And if people are opposed to slavery, they will elect representatives to that body who will, by unfriendly legislation, effectually prevent the introduction of it into their midst. If, on the contrary, they are for it, their legislation will favor its extension. Hence, no matter what the decision of the Supreme Court may be on the abstract question, still, the right of the people to make a slave territory or a free territory is perfect and complete under the Nebraska bill. I hope Mr. Lincoln deems my answer satisfactory on that point. So here we have the emphasis of popular sovereignty being highlighted by Douglas, and then he goes on to explain how that happens, right? So if people elect representatives who make laws that support slavery or oppose slavery, that is going to determine the culture of that territory. And he goes on to explain why he doesn't really care what the Supreme Court decides.